Mr.Falconpunch!
Hello everyone, it is your favorite kind of punch, Mr.Falconpunch 996, the underrated king, the recommendation master, and of course YouTube's #1 Dorohedoro fanboy, back to bring you guys another new video. Today, once again, we're going to be going back to Dragonball Z Movie reviews with Battle of Gods, the new generation of Dragon Ball movies. Now, Battle of Gods was a pretty big deal when it first came out. Not only was it the first Dragon Ball Z movie to come out within 17 years, but also changed the series as a whole, eventually building up to the next movie being Resurrection F, as well as the latest Dragon Ball series being Dragon Ball Super. Not only that, this movie also brought many things fans have been wanting from Dragon Ball Z movies, as we have much more story going on here, with this movie being more than the normal 45 minutes that many of the previous movies had, besides the original Broly movie, but, you know, fuck Broly. On top of this, we also got great character development and world building, but the absolute best thing to come out of this movie is that we finally got an awesome villain. Well, yes, not all the original movie villains were bad, as at least Cooler was decent. However, a lot of them were either just plain uninspired, pretty forgettable, or Broly. Fucking Broly! Luckily though, this movie gave us Beerus and Whis, who are easily some of the best movie characters to come out of the franchise and currently hold a pretty big role in the new series. Or at least I think they do, since I haven't watched Super yet because I'm still waiting for the English dub. I cannot betray the almighty Chris Sabat. Funnily enough, this is also my first Dragon Ball Z movie. As some of you may know, I was rather late in completing Dragon Ball Z, and by the time this movie was dubbed, I had already finished it. But that's enough of that, let's actually head into this review. The story here opens up with Beerus, a god of destruction, who after a long slumber wishes to find an opponent to challenge him in battle. Originally he planned on taking on Frieza, however he discovers that he was beaten long ago by Saiyan, the Saiyan of course being Goku. With Goku in sights, he heads out to fight him, and well, they don't call him a god of destruction for nothing. However, if Beerus doesn't get the challenge he craved, he intends on destroying the Earth. Luckily for our heroes, there's another sacred Saiyan legend, the Super Saiyan God, a new form Goku will have to unlock if he wants to once again save the world from total destruction. Now for the most part, this was a very enjoyable movie. Despite myself not exactly waiting as much as other Dragon Ball fans for this movie, it still does give off a very nostalgic feeling, seeing all these great characters back on screen again, newly animated, as well as the return of characters we haven't seen in a long time like the Pilaf gang, who after some events are back in younger bodies. And this movie I guess is also where the whole Mai and Trunks relationship started, as from the very little I know about Super is somewhat canon now. However, despite that, having the Pilaf gang back is awesome because they're hilarious as always, and the overall comedy here is amazing, as I laughed many times throughout this movie. However, this movie isn't purely just fun and fan service for Dragon Ball fans. As mentioned earlier, this movie gave a lot of things the original movies were never able to do. We see a lot of character development here with Goku and Vegeta regarding their pride. However, a lot more so Vegeta, as we see him literally throw away his pride, one of the biggest aspects of his character, in order to protect his family, which was really quite something. And seeing Vegeta fight for his wife, good shit, man. However, one of the biggest things this movie brought out was a good villain, because holy shit, Beerus is just awesome. At first I was a bit on the fence about him, mainly due to his character design, since for a god of destruction he looks a lot more like a mutant alien chihuahua.
Yo quiero Taco Bell.
However, seeing him in action is great, and despite sort of being the villain for this movie, he's just so damn likable and charismatic. I also find it hilarious how he's easily swayed by Earth food, and just really glad that as a character alongside his sort of attendant Whis, are characters that are able to get more spotlight within the series, as they definitely were the highlight of this movie for me. However, now it's time to get into the main meat of this movie, the actual Battle of Gods, which, believe it or not, I found to be one of the weakest aspects of this movie. While yes, there were some cool fights in here, I don't think it's anything Dragon Ball fans would be completely blown away by, especially when considering the many fights the series has produced in the past. For a movie called Battle of Gods, the battles just weren't that godly. And of course we have CGI here. While I don't think it's too bad in some areas, and definitely not as bad as an offender when compared to the next movie, but do we really need CG Ura? just looks really distracting. Speaking of the Saiyan God, let's talk about it, since alongside Beerus that was probably one of the biggest things to come out of this movie. The action form itself in terms of looks isn't really anything too special, it's just a slimmer Goku with red hair, which I don't mind too much. However, what I do mind is how Goku gets this power, because my god, it is bullshit, and it's only going to get a lot worse in the next movie. But apparently, a Super Saiyan God is a form when 5 righteous Saiyans transfer their ki into a 6th one to become the god. The real bullshit here is that 1. Vegeta is the only real full-blooded Saiyan here, as Gohan, Goten, and Trunks are only half Saiyan. So that right there should have been enough to not make this plan work. However, 2, to make matters worse, Vidal's unborn child with just a bit of Saiyan blood is able to qualify as a righteous Saiyan. How the fuck does that work? But to conclude, while the action in my opinion isn't as spectacular as the title would lead you to believe, I still had an absolute blast watching this movie. The comedy here is great, we are introduced to 2 amazing all new characters, we get a good portion of world building and character development for the series, as this series sets out a new path and adventure for the Dragon Ball franchise, which helps make this movie one of my personal favorites. You know, it's time to wrap up this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, I am MrFalconpunch 996. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, as well as check out the Facebook fan page. And of course, if you haven't done any of that yet, you will be Falcon Punch in the face. So you better do it. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.